Hi there, welcome to the latest edition of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this one is the second time Hamza Yusuf's brother-in-law has been arrested in the space of 4 days, and some of the odd things about it. Now, Hamza's brother-in-law was arrested at the end of last week, and he went to court on Monday. He was charged with drugs charges which pertain to his £6,000 worth of heroin. He also had crack cocaine for, I think it was £300 and about £60 or £80 worth of cannabis when him and his other two co-accused were arrested. Now, as he left the dock on Monday, it became apparent that he was re-arrested under another allegation where a man in Dundee seems to have fallen out of a window in a flat. And Mr. El Nakla has been re-arrested as he left the dock on Monday, facing potentially more charges, which will see him back in jail. Now, this man, as I say, in Dundee, miraculously fell out of a flat. The fact that they've arrested someone would suggest to any normal-minded person that the police believe he's actually been flung out the window. So, I can't see any other possible combination of things happening that would lead to somebody falling out a window and somebody being arrested for them falling out a window, other than he's been pushed out the window. Now, strange thing about Monday's court case, I was thinking to myself, £6,000 worth of heroin plus, a small amount of other drugs. The heroin alone sounds as if you must have quite a bit of it. So, and I thought, well, is that the sort of normal thing that would happen? You would be given bail and not remanded and held in jail until your court case. So I done a little bit of digging online, and it turns out that there's been a lot of people arrested with heroin with far more, like millions of pounds, and obviously comparing those cases to Hamza's brother-in-law's case would be a tad unfair. But I did find a case in Inverness where a man had £7,000 worth of heroin, which is about 15% more heroin than Hamza's brother-in-law and his co-accused were found to have had on their possession. But it's similar, £6,000 and £7,000 worth of heroin. I would imagine there's not a big difference in the eyes of the courts. And this man up in Inverness, he was found guilty and sentenced in October or November, just last year, just a matter of 3-4 months ago. And he was sentenced to 18 months. However, his sentence had a reduction on the time he'd need to serve because he had been remanded in custody for about, I think it was about 7 or 8 months prior to his full sentencing, which tells me that that's two different ways of dealing with something that seems a very, very similar crime, or alleged crime. One person, 6,000, you can go out and, you can get away, you can go away in bail until this comes to court. And a guy who in Inverness, a couple of hundred miles away, under the same police force and still the same prosecuting services, the two different, almost two tiers of how the courts dealt with that. Now, to be fair, the guy up in Inverness, I don't know if there was any other mitigating circumstances, in his past that may have led to him being held in remand throughout, the time awaiting his trial. But one of the co-accused in Hamza's brother-in-law's case, he's already out in bail for something else, and he broke his bail conditions by being re-arrested, and he was also granted bail. So I don't, even if there was mitigating circumstances for this guy who was convicted in Inverness 3-4 months ago, I can't see what massive thing, could take place that would make it different when this current case, one of the co-accused is, quite visibly broken bail conditions, or previous bail conditions for something he's waiting to attend court for by being convicted again, or being arrested again and charged again. So it's a wee bit smelly, that one, that, these people in Dundee with £6,000 get bail, and a guy in Inverness with £7,000 was in jail for about 6 to 8 months awaiting his trial. are waiting his sentences, because I don't know too much about the case, I do admit to that, but he might have pleaded guilty and it was just waiting sentencing, but he was held in remand throughout, since he was arrested, up until he was given his 18-month sentence for having £7,000 worth of heroin. And to be fair, it didn't seem that he had also crack cocaine, like these three co-accused have got, or any cannabis. So although there was a small difference in the amount of heroin that the both cases were arrested on, I think it's fair to say that having crack cocaine and cannabis, although they were small amounts, would probably make them similar, or potentially worse in the eyes of the law. Anyway, that's where we're at. So Hums's brother arrested twice in 4 days for allegedly throwing a man, or being connected to a man who fell out a window, and obviously his possession with, they feel, intent to supply with that amount of heroin. I'd imagine it'd be quite difficult to claim that £6,000 worth of heroin was a possession charge. So that looks like he's been charged with intent to supply, and also this man who I believe the man in Dundee that was out the window, was pretty seriously hurt. You'd imagine, even if you were a first floor flat, getting flung out a window would be quite severe. And the other thing meant to add is Hums's wife, Nadia, who, I done a video about this. If you check back in the 10-minute moans, you'll find it. We're asked if she was being fully truthful about this brother she has in Gaza, who she's trying to get out of the country and wants to bring to the United Kingdom. And in that video, I pointed out that if he was her brother, full-blood brother, he would be a UK citizen, and she wouldn't need to plead with anyone to get him out of Gaza. He'd be given the same free and safe passage that every UK citizen had previously, since around about November, when they started opening up Rafah crossing to UK citizens. She got her brother's family into Turkey, which was meant to be him, the wife, and 4 children, I believe they've got, between 6 months and 9 years of age. They were given safe passage to Turkey, which was a bit weird. And on the original list of people included her brother, but her brother's name miraculously got taken off that list to be given safe passage to Turkey. And at this point, we're unsure who took it off. Was it the Turkish that took it off? But if this brother was in fact her brother, he'd be a UK citizen, and these things would be, irrelevant anyway, because he would quite evidently be able to come to the UK at any time he wished. So it's obvious he's not a UK citizen, therefore he can't be a brother, might be a half-brother, etc. But the other weird thing, when I'd done the video previously, I didn't have any photographs or anything of this guy, Mohammed. But I've since found photographs of Mohammed, and he looks about the same age as her. She's already suggested that she has a stepmother in Gaza, which you would think, well, that would be someone that he met before her mum, because you think he married her mum about 1986 or something. But this guy looks about the same age as Nadia, which is a bit weird, isn't it? And some people have been suggesting to me that the religion that her father follows, it's, you're allowed to have more than one wife. But I don't know how that sits in the United Kingdom. I don't know if that means that, you can be married in the United Kingdom, but certainly there's a marriage certificate, because I found it. And there's another odd thing, which I don't think it's a big thing, but it's just a bit weird, right? On record, National Records of Scotland, you can find Nadia's first marriage certificate, Hums's first marriage certificate, and Hums's marriage to Nadia marriage certificate. Her brother, this is how it came about. Someone close to the channel was doing a bit of digging, and they found her brother, who's just been arrested, birth certificate registered, and his marriage and his divorce. But there's no divorce registered at the National Records of Scotland for Nadia's first marriage or indeed Hamza's first marriage. Now, at this point, I'm not 100% sure how that, the legal requirements for registering divorces, but you would kind of think if you manage to get married again, you must be divorced, so it's just not been recorded. But it's worth a wee dig. So the next time I've got a wee spare half hour, maybe do a wee bit more digging on that. But I'm still desperate to get to the bottom of this brother in Gaza, who I don't think's a brother at all. I think the best he could be is a half brother. Why not, when you're sitting on TV in tears about your brother, don't you just call him your half brother? I mean, it's not really the end of the world, but I think it's a bit weird that they look about the same age. That's strange. You would imagine if she had a step brother, they would be like 60 or something. But then, is that possible with your dad's age? I don't know. It's a bit stinky, and I'll keep my eye on that, and I'll also be keeping my eye on this divorce thing, which I must say at this point, I think it might not really be a big issue, but it looks a bit weird. I've got an inquisitive mind. I'll have a wee look at it if that's all right. So, if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. About here in the video, you'll see some recommendations. But most importantly of all, have a great day. Bye now.